Hey guys, it's Gabby. I'm back in the CO studio, and today I have here with me Owen Campbell. Woo! Round of applause.
Hey everybody.
Woo! And my father JR, who is the Canamac Campus Life Director here in Canamac.
That is correct. That is correct. Welcome, Owen.
Thank you.
To the CL Studios.
Thank you for having me. It's a nice, humble abode out here.
Yeah, thank you. Gabriella put a lot of time and effort into making the studio. Actually, she picked out everything in the studio and made me put it all together. So
do the dirty work.
Yeah, but she did a great job. Interior design. If anyone needs any interior design work, there you go. Gabriella Gardner for hire.
Maybe that's my future career.
It could be. Could be. We're not here to talk about you,
yeah,
though.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, Owen, why don't you tell, this is CL Hear the Story. So we want to hear your story. So if you would, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you? Like, what are your likes? What are your interests? What are your hobbies? Tell us about Owen Campbell.
So, I don't know if you heard it yet, but my name's Owen Campbell. I've been going here for a few years now, and it's kind of like, it's always been something that brings me a lot of joy and a lot of just love from all the people around me. It is one of like the things I like to do most of anything. I like to play a lot of video games too. I like to play with my dog and take him for walks. Just walk in general. It's just nice to get outside, get the natural light, get the natural essence of everything around you.
So going for walks, dogs, and video games. A little while ago, you had a dog pass away. It's always kind of losing like a family member. Been there. It's rough. So, but you recently got a new dog. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that dog.
So his name is Cowboy Lucky Johnson Campbell Taylor III Jr. And he's a mutt, but like.
Wait, can you say that name one more time?
It's Cowboy Lucky Johnson Campbell Taylor III Jr.
How did you even come up with that?
I'll break it down actually. So my dad loves Cowboy Bebop, a show, and he said we couldn't get the dog if we didn't name him Cowboy. And then Lucky because he's our third dog. Oh. And then Johnson because that's a ghost that used to like haunt me whenever I was a kid. Not even kidding, not making it up. Campbell because that's my last name. Taylor because I don't even remember. I think it was Taylor Swift. And then the third because he's the third dog, and Junior because I think he's like a mini me, like a son to me.
Nice.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a mutt, but like.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah, he's like. He's supposed to be Australian Shepherd and Lab, but he's like not Australian Shepherd and just like Lab and everything else.
Nice. Any other things you want the world to know about you? Any other loves in life? Any other passions in life?
I really, really love Fortnite.
Fortnite. Yeah. All right. What's your? Are you allowed to say like your? Is it a username, tag name? Like what is it called?
So on Fortnite, you can add me on Epic at it's Tuzzy with a Z, ITZTUZZY. I'll play with you.
Nice. There you go. All right, just before we even get into some of the questions, just random question for you. If you were stranded on an island and you can only bring one person with you, anybody, living or dead, who would you choose to bring with you?
That's a hard question because, like, bring a whole entourage if I could. Probably my best friend David Schaff.
David?
Yeah.
What's up, David?
What's up, David? You should
What's
be
up,
watching
David?
This.
Shout out to David. We miss you at Campus Life, David. Come back.
Listen to him.
Why David?
Because David, like, I've known him for a long time now, probably the longest out of any of the friends that I'm still, like, actively friends with. And on top of that, he's just, like, he's always there. Like, we've been through a lot together, whether it's through our families, like, having trouble, or just us having trouble. And we're always just, like, there for each other to talk to and be. It's just, he's just always there. And I feel like having him on the island would, like, that would really keep me from going insane. And knowing
so he has no basic survival skills. He's
probably
just someone who has helped
you. He's just a good friend.
That's good. That makes sense. No, that's good. Camaraderie.
Yeah.
It is not good to be alone. So there you go. Good answer, David. Good stuff. So, Owen, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Tell us what life was like growing up for you, childhood, that kind of stuff, family life.
Growing up, um, it's always been like a real roller coaster. So like, there's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but I always try to just like keep happy so that at least there's a median of that. Um, there's like been times where like, especially before campus life, there were times where it was just I thought I had no hope in life. Like I thought I was just gonna end up like, anybody else you see that might be homeless or anybody that's just down on their luck. And then I came to campus life, and I look at it in a way that it saved me, like even you, like it really saved me when I was in a dark place in my life, because I thought there was no one there, and then I just walked into a big family who just accepted me right away.
Cool. So, do you want to share anything about, like, you mentioned the word roller coaster? Like, where's an up and where's a down in life for you? Like, can you share anything about that?
Ups are usually like away from home, like at a trip. Like Heat Wave was definitely like probably one of the highest moments in life, because it's just surrounded by friends, surrounded by love, surrounded by fun.
If you don't know what Heat Wave is our high school trip that we go on in the summertime.
It's very fun. I would recommend going.
Best week of the year.
Best week of the year, in case you didn't hear Gabriella.
Best week of the year, not just summer, year.
Yeah.
Out of the whole 365.
So that was a high for you in life. What about what's like a low that you've gone through in life?
Probably back whenever I just like solely lived with my mom. It was really rough there, because like me, my mom, and my brother were all going through things, and we didn't really talk to each other about it. We kind of all just fought our demons alone, and I think that really like catapulted everything, because you would have people in their room crying, and then you're just sitting there like, it's hard to explain. It's just like we were all really fighting to get back to our old selves without realizing that we were trying to just get to a newer us, if you know what I mean. Like I feel like right now we're a lot better than we were, and just as like a family unit, we weren't clicking and we weren't just giving each other love. It was pretty toxic environment for a while, and that really kept me down and low, which is why, especially here, it gave me that family environment and gave me the love I felt like I needed back then, that I did need.
Cool. So it's growing up for you was your mom. You lived with your mom and your brother?
For a while. It was after my parents separated, it was just me, my mom, and my brother for a while. And it was cool for like the first maybe half year, and then after that it kind of got progressively worse.
How old were you when your parents separated?
I believe I was around 12. So I wasn't like matured at all yet.
So that would definitely be a low point in your life, is what you're saying, is dealing with the separation of your parents and some other toxic stuff that might have been going on in the house there. What was kind of the spiritual environment like at that time growing up for you? Was there church, no church, God, no God?
At that point in life, that's kind of after, like, my grandma really pressured me to, which I thank her for because it has helped me a lot. She pressured me to accept Jesus again, because as a kid I was baptized and I went through my first communion and I did like everything that I was supposed to do spiritually, but I never felt connected to God because I felt like it was forced onto me. And especially around that time, I just didn't really have God in my life. I was really disconnected, which I think is also why it was such a dark place, because I wasn't looking to him for the help that I needed. And since then I've definitely grown, but at that point in life there wasn't really a God in my mind, or there wasn't God in my mind.
Gotcha. And so, would you say that is kind of the toughest struggle you've ever had to go through? Or would you say there's some other things in life? I know you mentioned that, when things were missing at home with your family, that you came here. We can talk more about campus life in a little bit, but and campus life was kind of like a family that you weren't experiencing at home. So it's really cool to hear you say that. And oftentimes we hear students say that, it's like a family here. And so because people feel welcomed and accepted. I know for me personally, that's kind of my story too, is I was in a dark place, and then there were some people that welcomed me and made me feel loved and accepted. And I would say the same thing. I always say I fell in love with the people of God before I fell in love with God. And so it sounds like similar situation. You fell in love with the people of God before you fell in love with God. So would you say that separation that you went through is like the biggest struggle, or any other struggles in life that you've had to really overcome?
That honestly probably was the biggest struggle, because that just kind of set up the snowball effect for like the other bad stuff that was going to come in life in the later years.
Okay. So now, transitioning into campus life, you start, you're kind of in a dark place at home. How do you first hear about campus life? You already expressed how you felt when you started coming to campus life, but how did that all take place?
So I can't remember like the exact moment I was told about campus life. It might have been my grandma, or it might have been one of my old friends, Gus. But what was the rest of your question? I'm sorry, I blanked.
That's all right. No, so just how did you get introduced to campus life was the question. But you sound like you were kind of unsure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Okay. And what kept you coming back?
Just the environment. Like, it felt like even if some people at school that went to campus life, I was like, oh, I dislike this person, or oh, this person dislikes me. It felt like at campus life, everyone was just different. Everyone realized that like we're all here for the same common goal, to learn about God, learn about each other, and listen to each other. So it was always something that was like, it was kind of like a perception of if you have like a work life and then like a personal life. It was kind of like that, where like I had my campus life and then I had my outside life, which when I learned how to intertwine that was like a very helpful tool.
Gotcha. So, so you get introduced to campus life. Do you remember what grade you were in?
It was November of 2017, so I think it was my 7th grade year. And I remember I went on the Winter Blast trip. I wish I was wearing the shirt. It has a Fortnite logo on it.
That's right. Owen still, we did a Fortnite themed Winter Blast, and we were going to be doing a big Fortnite tournament. And then we set up all the TVs, ready to go, Xboxes everywhere. And Owen's like loving life, and the whole thing's is Fortnite themed. They had a really good speaker that year too, I heard. But anyways, get everything set up, and the Wi-Fi like crashes, and we cannot do the tournament. So Owen has not lived that down. In fact, we just asked our student leaders, which we'll talk about that in a minute, what they would like to do, and Owen's first response is a Fortnite tournament. So we got to pull it off. Cree, who is our sports ministry director, we need to talk to him about doing a tournament style video game. I forget, there's a name for that. What's that called?
Wait, for what? What did you say?
There's online.
Twitch?
No, there's like online tournaments, or I think Canamac has a team.
Oh, esports?
Esports, that's it. So there's like an esports thing out there. If you're part of it,
I don't know
bring it here to Canamac. Tell us how you work it with all the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But we'll have to get Cree doing the esports, since he's our sports ministry director. All right, back to the conversation here. So what were we talking about?
We were talking about whenever I first came.
Okay, so 7th grade. Mm-hmm. And you're currently in?
I am in 11th grade and almost finished. 22 days left, I believe.
Okay.
Can I say one thing? I thought you were a senior. I thought you were. I didn't know that you were in 11th grade. Anyways.
It's the facial hair.
Thank you. I need to.
Yeah, and you're also, you're very mature.
Thank you.
I feel like
I try.
You can hold like an adult conversation.
Is that what's happening right here?
Yeah, that's what's happening right now.
Right now. By the way, we apologize for all the baseballs and stuff like that. Our studio is here at the Armory, so
in
if you hear that,
in a sports facility.
Yeah, so I need to do a better job soundproofing this place. So I apologize if you can hear any of that. But so you're in 7th grade. You start coming to campus life. You keep coming back for whatever reason, because probably because of Andrew Barney or
that's a big one.
Or Gabriella or Chris Thompson. But you keep coming back. Is there a time that campus life really just impacted you, where there was like an impact moment that just really radically changed your life, where you're like, man, now I get it?
I would say last year's heat wave, because I missed out on the first year, and then from there, like that, I still had like I had my belief in God and I had faith in Him, and I was reading my Bible, but I still wasn't like locked into the relationship with Him. But after heat wave, like I really opened up to the idea, and even the student leadership retreat we just had, like just the trips in general, you're just isolated from anything else in your life and all the reality that like holds you and pushes you away from God, and you're just one-on-one with God half the trip. So that really just made me realize like He always wants to talk to me. He always wants to just know how I'm doing, and He's always ready to talk. So like I could pray right now if I wanted to, and those trips kind of like made me realize that He's always there for me.
Cool. So was there a first time too where you made like a decision and a profession of your faith to say, hey, this is something that I want to go after?
At Winter Blast in 7th grade actually is when I did it. They did what they do at the trips a lot, where like they tell everyone to do the prayer to like open up your arms and welcome yourself to God and welcome Him with a hug. And that's the moment that I first like accepted God after He was pushed out of my life for so long.
So 7th grade, you make a commitment. All along, you stay plugged in. You go on the trips. Heat wave last year, your sophomore summer, you feel strongly about, man, this is the direction I want to go after and pursuing a relationship with Jesus. And then, you know, you mentioned about the student leader retreat. So this is, how many years have you been a student leader now?
I think I've only been a student leader for about, this is my second year.
Yeah, so second year as a student leader, and we do a student leader retreat just for our student leaders as well. If you're interested in student leadership, talk to your campus life director. So second year doing student leadership. By the way, I just want to throw a plug out there for Owen. So this past year, we had our student leaders and our leaders lead our student leadership time. And Owen, who was your partner, Alex?
Yeah, he didn't show up.
Alex Ronald no-showed on Owen, so he left Owen to lead student leadership all by himself. We had probably 20 people, students in the room for student leadership time and leaders. And no joke, Owen whips out a PowerPoint presentation. He is vying for my job at this point. And he absolutely knocks it out of the park with a grand slam. And just like it was on point. It was just impressive. And then he opens it up for prayer requests, and like literally 15 people.
And he remembered everyone.
Yeah. And 15 people shared a prayer request, and he remembered every single one and prayed for each one individually. And I was just blown away. And that's when I was like, man, this dude is for real. So Owen has a future in ministry if he ever decides to do that. Speaking of future, what is you're a junior now. Any thoughts on direction and after high school stuff?
Speaking of that, like YFC, since I started coming here, like that's why I'm doing student leadership now, because I've always wanted to be like full-time in ministry, and I feel like in outreach ministry, like this specifically is like a perfect way to go about it. But like outside of ministry, I've been thinking about engineering, mechanical engineering more specifically, but I'm just not like too sure yet, because there's nothing I'm like very pushed and motivated to want to do for the rest of my life yet. But ministry is probably up there, probably number one right now out of anything.
Wow. Cool.
You have to be smart for that.
For ministry?
No, for engineering.
Oh, you said ministry though is number one.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant engineering.
You have to be really smart to do engineering,
Yeah.
not ministry.
No, I mean, you do need to be a little bit smart for that, too. Spiritually smart.
Sure. That's why I'm in ministry, because I wasn't able to do anything else. That's actually a true statement.
That's not what I say, but okay.
Anyways, so, all right. So last question that I have, and Gabrielle, I don't know if you have anything, but so is there anything that has stuck with you over the years where anything really that you want to leave with the listeners as far as piece of advice or just wisdom that you received along the way, a nugget that you want to pass on and share with your listeners?
I said this at my first student leadership retreat, and it's that hate costs money, but love is free. And I really like that because, like, if we all look at life in a perspective of money, which we shouldn't, don't do that. Just like for this example, like it really takes a lot more energy and negative energy in our lives to spread hate or just spread obscene things about people. But to love anybody, which we saw Jesus do very well, and even God's still doing that, it's very easy to just turn to somebody and compliment them, but it takes a lot more effort to walk up to somebody and be like, oh, your outfit's horrible. And I like that. I feel like spreading positivity is something that we don't see a lot anymore because media kind of clouds everything and just pushes the ideas and propaganda of the devil out of anything now, just keeping us away from God. And I feel like spreading a positive message will kind of clear the fog.
It's good. It's good thing to end on is, God doesn't just have love. God is love, the Bible says. And so of all the attributes, it's love. And so love God and love others. So it's very wise of you to share that information. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Love like Jesus.
Love like Jesus.
That's what my sweatshirt said yesterday on the back of my
This
sweatshirt.
says, what would Jesus do? I recommend getting one of these. It's very helpful. He has a cool one, but it's not a bracelet.
Which one?
I have a personalized one, but anyways.
All right, guys. Well, that was our getting to know Owen time. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and tune in for the next video.
Peace.
See you next time.